when you see a product you like on TikTok, where are you most likely to purchase it? Boom. Look at this, guys. 62% of people will purchase a TikTok product or an endorsement on TikTok of some nature on Amazon. So what I'm learning so far here, guys, just most people trust to some degree shopping on TikTok, a majority. People like to buy cheaper items. What a shock. People will do the research on Amazon and other platforms before making a purchase. People don't care if the person is a trusted influencer or just a Jane or John Doe. I like that. So the big winner here today, Amazon. We are live. Is your head center?
To the world's biggest podcast featuring Ian and Michael. And special guest today is Sage.
And maybe Daniel. We'll see. I'm inviting him over because Daniel has some stuff to talk about with TikTok Lives. He's been doing a bunch of stuff in that arena. So let's hope we can get him in and talk about his TikTok Live world because it's actually really interesting. And if he can't join, then I will brief you. But it's best coming from the horse's mouth. Absolutely. He'll tell you the story.
Well, we've been doing a lot of lives too. Our clients have, and they've been hitting some nice milestones of sales of their lives. So we know something or two about life.
We do. And let's also talk about in this recording the survey results. I have the 2025 survey not done, but we have enough answers in to have something interesting to discuss.
We had a special guest, Daniel. Oh, he is
special guest, Daniel, who then left. He said he'll jump back in. Results. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. So we do an annual survey here at Bullseye, and every year leading up to this year, it's been focused on Amazon. This year, we decided to focus on TikTok because this is the year of the tiki-taki. So we have 25 or so responses from about 550 shoppers so far. We're going to get it to 1,000, but I feel 550 is enough to talk about. You guys want to dive into the survey and learn a little more about what people think, what people do?
Actually, we happen to have a very experienced survey person, Sage, of the special guests, who has done probably upwards of 1 million surveys. So he would probably have a very interesting take on the behavior survey. So
I like that.
This is, how often do you shop online through social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and then daily 28%, weekly, monthly, and never. How many responses? 520.
Yeah, a little over 500 responses. And just for the sake of time here and for the audio listeners who are not watching, because, you know, we have millions and millions of audio listeners that are not watching. So let's go over the highlights. So this question is, how often do you shop online through social media platforms? TikTok Shop, Instagram, Facebook. The big call out here is between daily and weekly, you're looking at 300 shoppers out of 550. So over 50% of shoppers are shopping online through social media every single week. That to me is massive. Then we have
purchased a product from TikTok Shop.
Then we have the simple question. Very, very straightforward. 63.7% of people have purchased a product from TikTok Shop. I bet a year ago that was like 20%, and a year before that was 0 because there wasn't Shop. So this is a fast growing statistic for sure.
You know how many items I have in my TikTok cart right now?
I don't even want to hear about look, this is a kid show. This is a kid show, Michael. Have you ever purchased a product directly from an Instagram or Facebook ad? So we're focusing on Meta here and no shock here. 67%. Meta is so seasoned. I mean, how long has Meta been doing ads? 15 years? 12 years?
2010, even really advertising. So,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah, so they definitely got the market on that. How often do you discover new products through social media before purchasing them elsewhere? So this is the discovery method and then buying who knows where. Okay, let's truncate this. So we have between sometimes and always, basically, what would you guys say? 90% of the shoppers between sometimes and always?
Well, the question is, how often do you discover new products through social media before purchasing them? And so I always discover them. I often discover them sometimes. So often.
Often. That's the highlight. Yeah. So 45% for the listeners, 45% of shoppers often find something on social and then buy elsewhere. That's a massive number because in addition to that, you have an additional 10%. So that would break over 50% of people are either always or often buying based on their social media views.
But I wonder also like what the below consciousness purchase, like if I see an ad and I see another ad and I see another ad, and then I go and do a search on Google or Amazon just like a week later, I need this thing. But then I didn't know that social made me think I needed.
Is it chicken
Because
before egg or egg before chicken?
do I credit social for knowing that I needed something, but I didn't even know that I saw the ad on social. I just subliminally wanted to purchase something because I saw a really cool ad for it somewhere that I completely forgot about. But a week later, I searched it. I bet.
Sure.
I wonder, but nobody you couldn't survey for that question because it's subconscious.
This one makes me ask another question, which really would dig into it a bit, which is, how often you discover new products. I feel like, how did they answer that question? Because like you can, there's products you need, right? And you'll find those wherever you need to find them. Maybe you get advertised for it because you were looking for shoes and then you find those shoes. But really I had no idea that product existed. And then all of a sudden now you know it exists. So it's more the question of, did you create a desire, right? Like I notice a lot of people on e-commerce are trying to quote unquote go for low hanging fruit, right? They're like, what's being searched or and there's a huge percentage of marketers that are missing why don't we create the desire for this product in the first place? And I've had it happen personally. It's like, I had no idea. My wallet's a perfect example. Like Dango wallets, right? Dango is this company that makes super cool metal, RFD block and minimalist style wallets, but kind of very tactical. I have never seen their ads anywhere else. I would never find them on Google. They're like, they just have only showed up for the last 8 years on Instagram. And that was a sweet ad. And I had no idea I should get a wallet like that. And for the last 10 years, I've had one of their wallets and they have all these other things. And like, I would have no brand discovery because of that. And I didn't even need a wallet, but because they created a desire through good ads and through good stuff, they've now opened that market up. And I feel like those guys are the pioneers who are using social media to really not even just discover new products, but discover products you didn't even realize you wanted until you saw the ad and created a want. Right?
Exactly.
Stage's exact point. All the products in my TikTok cart right now that are sitting there accumulating and I'll eventually check out, they're all products I thought were brilliant and I never knew I needed until I saw that someone created something to solve this problem for me.
I think that's
or utensils. Yeah. And that's where social media, if you're going to use social media as an outlet, if you were able to solve someone's problem of something that really haven't seen or they didn't know they should search for, like everyone knows they should search for a spatula they use, but a cool new noodle draining system that allows you to not have to take your noodles and strain it, but puts a little cool new invention that allows you to strain your noodles directly from the pot. And then like it's never been seen before. You use social media to make yourself known. And then I'll go to Amazon and buy it. Or whatever platform, like because it's discovery, right? So I think social media used as a discovery platform, to Sage's point, is very powerful. And this survey right here reflects like, you see it on social media, you discover it there, and then you go and buy it.
Exactly, 100%. So then it brings us to what type of content is most likely to make you buy a product on TikTok or Instagram. Sage, you have a little echo. So what type of content is most likely to make you buy a product on TikTok or Instagram? I thought this was great. Viral, I thought was going to be big. Product demonstrations is the clear winner. At 45% of people prefer buying products off product demonstrations. Interesting. So the other options are reviews from influencers is a second at 29%. Sponsored ads is only 47%. Viral user generated content is 66%, and live shopping a dismal, I don't even know what percent, 17 people. So the big takeaway here is product demonstrations. Did you guys learn anything off that? Because I did.
Yeah. So this opens the door to something very interesting, which is a big area of struggle with supplements.
Oh, we have Daniel here. We have Daniel here on the podcast. First time ever on the pod.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. I'm in this, in the presence of greatness. So thank you for giving me the chance.
Daniel, and I'm inviting you in. We're talking about the survey, and product demonstrations came in holier than thou at 45%. And we were just talking about how we're learning something here so what would you guys define as product demo? Michael, what would you say? Just opening a box?
So I was going to say there's usually three main categories of videos. There's going to be product showcasing or demonstration, right? So it's like showing the product, how it's used, how it works, different ways to use it. That's a product demonstration, right? Kind of like ShamWow. If anyone ever seen that, that's a product demonstration video.
Oh, I'd love me some ShamWow.
ShamWow's amazing, right? You also have the car products that make your car super shiny, and they demonstrate how shiny is the water beads come right off of it. It's a product demonstration video. So then you have a testimonial of it. The person's talking about the product. That would be like more usually a vitamin or supplement, right? It says testimonial. And then you have a product placement video. So it's just the product, the person talking about their lifestyle, the product's placed in the kitchen counter and bottle. So, but this product demonstration, and those things aren't covered here, right? But in product demonstration would essentially could break down into those three categories.
I think
And
it
in
does
this
break
case
down.
here, yeah. So product demonstration broad, and then I would do a survey like out of product demonstration, product showcasing, and product placement, what incentivizes you more. The actual answer of product demonstration, if you go up one more time, I want to see the other answers real quick. Reviews from influencers number 2.
Yeah.
And there's where your supplement sales come in, right? Because you can't really do a product demo and supplement. Like, what are you going to do? Put it under a microscope and show the vitamin C content or something,
Exactly.
Sponsored ad, viral, live shop. And just live shopping. I don't think people know that they actually buy from live shop because
Well,
live shopping is a product.
so we'll jump into that. Okay, how much do you trust recommendations from influencers? I actually was fascinated by this answer because I thought it was going to be a lot more aggressive in the completely somewhat trust. The biggest answer at 39% is neutral. People are neutral. They're not going goo goo gaga over influencers anymore. That's not as much of a thing as I thought it once was. Maybe it once was a thing. There is 195 people, which is 37% somewhat trust influencers. But check it out. Completely trust influencers, a dismal 3.6%. So no one's drinking the Kool-Aid, man.
I think the only factor to that too is like reality level, right? Like my wife hears something from another wife who actually does baking or has the chickens and all that jazz. Like she'll take the data and she'll fully take the data on it must work because they have it. So it's definitely that disconnect of like, is that influencer just entertaining? And then they talk about a product. Well, whoop-de-freaking do. But if there's a guy who's actually does similar workouts to me or similar philosophies and how to handle the body, and then he recommends something that is actually aligned with how he thinks, then yeah, I'm going to go, okay, that makes sense. Obviously I know they have to make money, but there's definitely that factor of how truthful is the influencer and who they are and what they talk about. And are they just entertainment or are they actually getting data? At which point, you'll take it with more trust.
The difference there is like Kim Kardashian promoting a product that has nothing to do with the brand, right? Or she's promoting like a smoothie and you're like, okay, cool, whatever. Or Kim Kardashian specifically.
If she tells me about butt injections, I will go to her doctor.
That's what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, Sage? So butt injections, you are all in.
I'm finding that number. Yeah.
But see the difference also, I mentioned earlier, place and Kim Kardashian was just talking about her morning routine for her butt, but then you see on her kitchen counter or on her plastic counter, you see Kim Kardashian butt cream, and then you're like butt lip cream, right? And then she doesn't even talk about it. She doesn't mention it. She starts putting it on her butt. She's like, you mention the name of it. Oh, that butt cream might go completely viral. Like, what's that butt cream? What is it? It's product placement. That's the Coca-Cola ad that you see in the movies. The guy drinking it very crisp Coke on a hot summer day. This is that hot. He just drinks the Coke. And
that stuff, and just to add a point to it, I think the greatest product I ever saw that was just product placement and was unintentional.
All right. So have you ever purchased a product solely because of an influencer? And it's only 43%. That was surprising to me. I thought it would be higher. Okay, let's continue. Which social media platform do you feel is the most trustworthy product recommendations? Or sorry, let me reword that. What social media platform do you feel has the most trustworthy product recommendations? And the number one is Facebook. Are we surprised by this? Because I'm shocked. I thought TikTok, which is a close second, but Facebook is just squeaking over TikTok by a couple percent.
I hate her. Maybe if you did a broader audience, like 1,000 people, it might be like 50-50, but
I think so. I think as we get more survey answers, TikTok's going to win because I'm just surprised by this, but that's interesting. Facebook is still doing well with trust, and Facebook's the oldest platform. So there's something there to be said on that. Facebook's been around now for almost 20 years.
They're grouped in.
When you see a product on social media, how likely are you to research it before purchasing? Look at that. We have always at 52%. So what does that mean? That means people are going somewhere. They're leaving their TikTok video. Where are they going? Website. And we're going to find out later in the survey. Amazon, Googling it, but they're doing some sort of research and they're absorbing content elsewhere before they confirm their purchase. So that is important. So if you're going to be launching something on TikTok and you don't have a presence on a website or a presence on Amazon, I have a feeling you're going to be losing some conversions due to this. What factors make you trust a product being promoted on TikTok or Instagram? What are the most important factors? Number one here is 39% authentic user reviews. Number two, brand reputation, which is 23.8%. And then number 3, video demonstrations at 103, which would be 20%. So after all that, user reviews is still the number one criteria that people look at before they look at a video, before they look at influencer credibility, brand reputation. That's why I tell all my new TikTokers, guys, you got to get some reviews on your shop. Don't be monetizing ads until you have some reviews, because you're not going to convert. What has stopped you from buying a product on TikTok or Instagram? Number 1, fear of scam and fraud, 47.7%. Woo! What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I feel like that's a modern PR issue, right? Meaning there's been so much of that going around a bunch, right? They want to make sure that they're verified that it is a real product and will it come. Nobody wants to risk their cash. When I see the product in my hand in a store, I think that's the problem old as time that we're still getting over with younger people and more people like, I trust Amazon. They always deliver and they're always going to give me money. But I think it was the first hump with online sales in general, right? All right, I can't go and feel it. So how do I know it's going to work or I'm going to get it or what's going to happen,
So that kind of solidifies this point here, doesn't it? Right? You have to go up and you have to actually look and do research on it to get you out of that frame of mind that it is a scam or fraud and do your research. So go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add, I think also part of this is the demographic. For example, my uncle just began buying things on TikTok Shop. He's 65 and he was worried about fraud, and it's a new, so it depends on who you're selling to as well. At least in my generation, we grew up, it's normal to me. I don't fear too much fraudulent Instagram, TikTok purchases. But as the older people, the old Facebook type of people now enter these new platforms, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandpas, grandmas, things of that nature. I think a lot of them, this is their first time experiencing buying things off a website at most of Amazon, was the most they ever did. So just a point I wanted to make.
I'd be really curious for a number.
Baby boomer type answer too. I mean, to Daniel's point, like I have no fear. And a lot of people I know, they don't have no fear of sin. TikTok and Amazon verify everything, right? So they verify the seller. They're a legitimate company, and a lot of people know that. But like, a 60-year-old, they're like, I don't know what this is. What if this is some guy in his Mississippi swamp selling stuff? Snake oil to me.
He still wants to buy it though. All right. Have you ever had a negative experience purchasing from TikTok or other social platforms? This is right down the middle at 51% said no, 48.9% yes. So there's definitely some bad experiences. I don't know what those would be, but maybe slow shipping, bad quality, etc.
Yeah. It'd be great to see that's where you would dive in, right? 2 equal. But what I was saying before was the number, like the review keeps coming up. And I'd be really curious as to like what the average amount of reviews people need before they feel validated in the purchase, if that makes sense, right? And also based on price, right? So like example, if I'm testing out a supplement, like I'm going to get it, I could return it if I need to, but I need to find what I like and I see a review or whatever's going on. But then there's a larger purchase like these cool VR goggles. I'm spending a solid, watching 6 different videos and hoping there's a good, thorough one on YouTube. And then I check another guy too, who might have a different opinion, like an older guy compared to a younger, gamer guy who could just be giving me all the fluff. Like at which point do you feel validated that enough people are saying the same thing that it is a good enough product to buy? And again, I'm never concerned about losing my money, funny enough. I'm just more concerned about the time and effort to return the thing and wait for it. And I got it. And, now I got to wait 4 days for the money to come back. But I'm curious about that. Does it take 3 videos before someone's fully happy with that product? And then what price range does that break? Where like, I just need to see 1 review or I need to see 5? Is that over $100 or is that, you know what I mean? Be a cool piece of data.
Good point. We could dive into that more. Okay, good. So do you prefer buying from established brands or small businesses? I like this. I like this a lot because no preference is a whopping 55%. There's 3 options: established brands, small businesses, and no preference. And this gives me a lot of optimism because a lot of our clients are not established brands. So it looks like they have a shot.
It was a dramatic change in the last 20 years because small business became a trending thing. Buy from small businesses and homegrown businesses, not big brands, right? So the small business overtook a lot of the market. And obviously, I think small business comprises the majority of the market. And I think that like big companies like Procter & Gamble and, just large corporations like General Electric and their products, and they have a huge market for sure. But collectively, those small brands are way more, trillions of dollars.
Way more. And they're probably more effective on social media and the guerrilla marketing style than Procter & Gamble would ever be, right?
Right, exactly.
Do you feel comfortable purchasing high ticket items over $100 on TikTok Shop? And number 1 answer is no. I only buy low cost items. So, and this is definitely a concern. So right now, and we'll survey this in a year and see how much has changed. But right now, 31% of people say, no, I only buy low costs. And then check this out. An additional 27%. So if you combine 27 plus 31, you're over half the population. 27% says, I do not even trust TikTok Shop. So this is TikTok has to mature as a platform to earn these guys business and get them to trust for higher priced items.
Yeah. I would point out for your audio listeners, no only low cost items compared to Yes, but from well-known brands is only like a 10-person difference. So they're very close in size, very close to 30%. Right. So a third of the market is willing, more than the majority of the third, but the rest.
Well, if you take out the I don't trust TikTok, you're actually
and just do low to high. Yeah. So half the consumers will buy a low ticket.
There's buyers.
It's an opportunity. There's buyers.
So here we go. This is Daniel's world. Have you participated in a live shopping event on TikTok? 27% said yes. Interesting. Live shopping event on TikTok. So we will dive into that after the survey. If yes, did you buy something from the live stream? And out of that, because most people have not attended, it is only 15% of people have purchased from live streaming. Okay, 15%, still solid. Do you engage with ads on TikTok by clicking through to learn more? The biggest number here is sometimes. So 37% of people do engage, plus often. So let's add those together. Often is 8.4, sometimes is 37. So basically about half the population will engage with TikTok ads and learn more. That's very promising. And only a third say never. So it's actually 67% will engage between rarely, sometimes, and often. That's great. That's absolutely awesome. What type of social media ads are most effective in getting your attention? Video ads, no surprise. Influencer endorsements, I thought would do better. That's only 19%. So video ads, which means that it's not a regular influencer, but just any old Jane Doe, John Doe, is accounting for over 50% of what type of ads convert. And that's great. So what I'm learning so far here, guys, just to encapsulate what we've learned, is that most people trust to some degree shopping on TikTok, a majority. People like to buy cheaper items. What a shock. People will do the research on Amazon and other platforms before making a purchase. People don't care if the person is a trusted influencer or just a Jane or John Doe. I like that. People do respond to video ads a pretty good percentage. And the person doing the video ad does not have to be an influencer in order for it to get a conversion. I think that's all very interesting. Okay, we have a few more. When you see a product you like on TikTok, where are you most likely to purchase it? Boom. Look at this, guys. 62% of people will purchase a TikTok product or an endorsement on TikTok of some nature on Amazon. Did you guys think that this would come in at a overwhelming 62%?
But that's this usual metric I use. I usually say about 60% of people will go to Amazon to buy, because that's just what I've experienced. It's like if you get 100 sales, there's going to be 60 at Amazon, and there's going to be 30 to 40% go to TikTok, and some percent trickle through website. That was my estimate. It's so funny that the poll actually shows that. I've been taking it right up by general estimation.
I think you were talking a little bit theoretical because you can't prove it, but I think your assessment and your hunch was right, because everything
exactly. Numbers,
Yeah.
I see the numbers and I'm like, okay, this product was featured on TikTok this many times, it's got this many sales, and there's 4 sales here and 6 sales there on Amazon, right? 6 sales on Amazon, 4 sales on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, it's not 50%. Like, it's not hard.
It's right.
It's hard to know if those 6 sales from the TikTok videos or they from whatever. But so like I had products that were at 0 sales and they got 10 sales, and then I see that there's a video that made 4 sales in TikTok Shop, and I'm like, there's 6 sales in Amazon. I'm like, okay. And then that happens repetitively. So it's not, you can't get any exact tricks, but it's, you can use best guess of 60%.
Have you ever searched for a product on Amazon after seeing it on TikTok? Number one answer is yes, I do this often, at 47%. Yes, but only sometimes, at 35%. So basically between 35 and 47, you're looking at about 80% of people will go to Amazon most or some of the time before making a purchase.
We should. You see that. I want to share this with more people. Like that one little factor, that's huge. Like that's like, I just want to sell on TikTok Shop, and you're like, well, you don't want to sell on Amazon. You're like, you're going to lose 1% of your sale, and then you look at the server results, how many people actually go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm curious to actually what that is too, right? Because if you deep dive into the Amazon, it's like, why do you check there? Shipping, Prime, easy returns. So usually
There it
it's
is.
a steal. You know,
Yeah.
like what is
Yeah.
the reason for Amazon? Is it because you trust the hell out of it, or because the shipping, or because it's free? Because half the time I go, I see a new product is like $8 in shipping. I'm like, I'll just check this on Amazon.
Yeah, for me
Well,
also.
Interesting.
I was gonna say, for me personally, the reason why I buy it on Amazon is because everything's in one place, and I forget what I ordered on TikTok. But I'm used to going to my Amazon orders. It's more in my day to day to go on Amazon than it is to check what hasn't arrived, what did arrive, what was refunded, what was canceled on TikTok. So even if it's the same item, I just prefer the convenience of my use of Amazon. It's not so I don't just pull up TikTok and look at what I ordered. I forget. So that's part of it too, is that it just feels more at home.
Yeah.
So in summary, Amazon spent billions of dollars and solidified themselves as, regardless if you see it from us or anything like that, they played that lost lead game to get the shipping, to the Prime, all that, to basically, I don't care if it's promoted anywhere else, people are still going to come to us to buy it from us. And they invested. They're the only
Yeah,
ones. I
that's
mean,
TikTok.
I know TikTok shops trying to do it too. They like have their own fulfillment and all that jazz. Probably easy, but it's like I can go to Whole Foods and just drop off my products. You know, like
I guess a great question to ask you based on this is, if the product that you were looking for wasn't available on Amazon, would you still buy it?
I'm telling you, there's an 80% drop off rate on my side if it's not on Amazon.
Are you guys ready for the next? Are you guys ready for the next
Yeah.
question then?
Yeah. Hey.
If it's funny you say that. You literally worded the question perfectly, Michael. If a TikTok product is not available on Amazon, are you willing to buy it directly on TikTok Shop?
That's so fucking that's true.
And you know what? Here's what's interesting is 68.7% of people will still make a purchase on TikTok if it's not on Amazon. So,
They're just
There
looking at for convenience.
but 1/3 will fall off. That's the key here. 1/3 of conversions will fall, gone if you're not on
So
Amazon.
it's really, if it's really like 60% will look at Amazon, it won't buy directly from that. But then if it's not available on Amazon, then you lose the 30%. So we'll look at the exact math on these. If you weren't available on Amazon, you lose some on sales.
In my opinion, this means 30% of people will drop off if you're not on Amazon. That's what I take out of this. Have you ever gone to a physical store to buy a product you first saw on TikTok? And the big overwhelming answer is hell no. I prefer shopping online, 44%. And then some people, a pretty decent chunk at 32%. Yes, but only for certain types of products. Now, those would probably be, the more expensive products, the VR goggles, they want to try them on, they want to feel it, they want to touch it. They're going to be inspired by TikTok, but they still want to go in the store, go into a Target, etc., and hold that item in their hand. So I definitely see why 1/3 of people, or more of 1/3 of situations, is going to want an in-store purchase.
If you want a little backup to that thing I was going to buy, it took me a minute to review it, and I saw these reviews, blah, 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 and they didn't have one in a store. I'm not saying this makes any difference, but at that price level, it's $600. And then I bought it, and within 10 minutes, I knew it wasn't what I wanted. So I went through that whole process, but I got it from Amazon. So I was able to return it like that night and got my money back, no problem. So that was the joy of that situation.
So the big winner here today, Amazon. Who's winning in all this?
Amazon.
Yeah.
So
All the effort that TikTok put in, it just still makes Amazon win. I mean, they're making fun of her. They're still winning, but you're not chanting.
no, Amazon's winning overall in this situation. So I want to jump into Mr. Del Carlo because he's got some interesting statistics. His girlfriend's playing the influencer game on TikTok, so he's closely involved with her efforts to become an influencer, to get a retainer from brands, do brand deals. And they've been doing what now? 30 days of live shopping, 5 days a week for a particular brand. And I wanted you to tell the audience your experience with selling live. Give us how often she goes live, what does it look like, and what are the results?
Good question. So I've been, as Ian said, living vicariously through my girlfriend and experiencing the fascinating phenomena of TikTok live selling. So she's currently going live 3 days a week, 3 hours a day for a beauty brand that has hair care, skincare, etc. So when we started this, we had heard about all these people making a bunch of money selling on TikTok. And we're like, all right, is it hard? Is it easy? We don't know. Let's just start. So she got on camera, held the bottle up, started selling stuff, and there was like 3 or 4 viewers. Not a lot of success. The product was great. She looks great, but for some reason, nobody was really joining. So after doing more research and studying other successful lives, of course, there's always daily nuance of viewership, but we realized there are like fundamental pillars that are non-negotiably needed for a live to have the best chance of success. So the first one is like TikTok does not like a non-moving live. What does that mean? They like movement. They're always scanning to make sure that people are in the scene, moving the product. In fact, the moment she bought one of those spinning trays that holds a product on a stand and spins, we saw like 10 plus more viewers come in consistently. It's hard to say that's the reason why, but what else would it be? We then turn on the TV and do a satisfying Minecraft video where like you're bouncing up and down in the background. So the more stimulating you can make the entire scene, for some reason, TikTok seems to push it out further. So they also like music. So music, something in the background, a spinning tray. The best example I would give, if any of you have babies or nieces or nephews, a lot of babies will watch like Miss Rachel on TV. It's like bright colors and it's very stimulating. I feel like TikTok live selling is like the same thing for adults. It's like LED. She bought an LED hula hoop and you spin in it. And so there's so much going on. It's like a candy store of selling. Another thing that's working is the more gifts you seem to get, the more viewers that seem to enter your live. And when you start to think about that, gifts are the currency for TikTok. So when someone buys tokens, they can give a gift to a creator. TikTok makes a cut, the creator makes a cut. That's, in other words, investing into the live. So I started planting some gifts and some donations to her over the hours to see if that would help push out the live. And all in combination, it's working. She's getting about 40 to 50 viewers consistently after 30 days. She's selling 30 to 55 products every single live, which is about 10 to 13 products an hour. So that's the progress so far. There's more to come, but it's stabilizing right now at about 30 to 50 products sold, 30 to 50 viewers consistently every single live, and also followers gained. There's a lot of loyal, like, you know, I always ask the brand, I go, what's the value of a new customer? So the brand is non-existent. Someone joins the live, they get interaction, they get a deal, and then who knows how many times they buy in the future. So what's the actual value of those 56 purchases beyond the discount of what they actually bought? So we're still figuring it out. That's a little bit of the back end, but any thoughts, questions, clarification?
I have so many questions. So many questions as someone who has a completely different like mindset on selling live, but on a technical level, please let me dive in on this because I'm so curious about something. So first, do you guys pick a specific time to do this? Because obviously like I'm not sitting shopping at 1 p.m. So like, have you found a time for the public you have that's the most successful and you repeat that time every day or those 3 times? Like, do you even, that's the first question. The second one is, do you then promote to your followers like, hey, on Wednesday, 7 p.m., 30 minutes, we're doing flash sales, you know, like come join the live and be there? Are you doing that?
Sage is a smart guy. You're right on both. So the first one is she goes live 6 p.m. Central, that's 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So she go live from 6 to 9 Central time. She will post a story on the account the day of the live. And also we're starting to actually post a day or two before that we're doing weekly lives, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from this time to this time, we'll be covering these products. So that is correct. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Cause you got me so like looped on all these questions here. Now, have you looked at like how long someone's staying, right? Like, so if I had, let's say you, right? Like you got the mustache, we're cool. I got the mustache. Like, all right, what are we going to do? You're selling some cool thing. If I know you have a live at 7 and you're selling something, right? And why should, first off, the first question is like, why shouldn't I just see your stuff, purchase it? Why would buying during the live incentivize me? Like, do you guys have like discounts during the live specifically or some sort of offer or something, or that doesn't matter?
No, absolutely matters. Yes, there's flash sales, there's temporary discounts, 10-minute deals. So there actually is staff behind the scenes. There is somebody from the hair and beauty brand that's helping run these deals that appear on the screen. So there is collaboration. There's a Telegram chat. There's a monitor next to her live. And there's
so interesting.
Nothing is by mistake.
This is like those 1950s like call-in centers, like call down. You know, let's go.
Well, it feels like the modern day HSN that my mom used to watch when she was silly kids, right? So yeah, but the good news is it's fairly simple. There's one staff from the brand that's helping her set up these offers and deals. They communicate on a Telegram chat on the left. And then that's essentially the only back end there is to it besides the really stimulating live. So scheduled notifications, flash sales, there's urgency and there's calls to action. Another thing is there's so many people that join the live every 10, 15, 30 seconds, you have to repeat yourself a lot because not everybody.
That was my next question. Like they stay on, but if they stay on and want to purchase or not, they've made that decision within a minute or two. Obviously, you're making it entertaining to watch in general, but once they've purchased, they're out. And so now you need new people in the shop. and you gotta like so you have like a script every 2 minutes to kind of rock the same few points while you add some more interest.
Yeah. So it's not, we don't time it every 2 minutes, but I would say she says the same thing about 930 times over 3 hours. The rest is just basically greeting new people that enter. You know, 10 main things. There's questions, there's benefits, there's value, there's offers. But also the other thing I will add is the moment we started engaging with the comments, which sounds pretty obvious. You're like, of course you would engage. You'd be surprised how many comments there are that slip by. I'll join lives myself. And when someone actually acknowledges my name and answers my question, I feel way more established in that live versus just watching it being ignored. So she does her best to use names, call, you know, actually interact with them. And then she'll tell them to come back after they bought it in 5 days, in a week, in 15 days, and give their feedback on their progress and results. So there's already people rejoining the live to share their experiences.
I just wonder. I'm gonna have you come back in a month, Daniel, and keep us updated, because a lot's happened in only 30 days. So I want to keep an eye on this, because I want to see what it takes to get a brand real momentum, like thousands of attendees, thousands of dollars of sales a day. And I think what you and Alyssa are doing is going to get there, but I just want to hear your journey when it gets closer to that. Okay, good. Awesome. Well,
I have one
last question, and then we got to wrap.
On the live, you said gifts are currency. And they obviously, on the TikTok algorithm, TikTok starts going like, all right, let's move this forward. Let's see what's going on. Do you guys implement strategies like, hey, for the first 10 minutes of the live, if you give us a gift, this $1 gift, you get an extra 5% off the $50 item or whatever that is, like to just get initial gift traction to get the live pushed for the first 10 minutes? Like, you got phases of your live, basically is what I'm saying. Like first 10 minutes are push, get the algorithm pumping. Second phase is like sell phase. Third phase is like catch them and push on. You know what I mean? Like, do you guys break it down like that at all? Or is it just, you see what I mean?
I do see what you mean. I would say the first hour and a half of the live, the first 50% is where all the scheduled donations occur. They're called galaxies, just to clarify. Sure. So we'll set a goal, 10 galaxies for the live, and we'll fill them up over the first hour and a half. So it's not that specific, or it's the first 10 minutes or 12 minutes, but I would say usually after an hour and a half of being live, it seems that kind of the thing has legs, it has its own wings, and it's stable.
Gotcha. So there's lift off, basically. There's a lift off phase, and then the live is rolling and pumping.
From what we've experienced, I'm sure if you talk to somebody else, they have their own version of this, but in my experience and our experience, there seems to be something to that lift offness of gifts, donations, very stimulating live, and the times I gave with a heads up on the account and interacting with people. 100%.
Sweet. Thanks, man. So curious.
This was another episode of the Selling on, I don't even know what we sell on anymore. It's called the Selling on Amazon podcast, but I think we need to rename it Selling on Every Freaking Thing You Can Think of podcast. And thanks for, just Selling Shit podcast would be a great name for it. Thank you, Sage and Daniel, for your input. It was great.